Shalom, shalom. Yeah, and let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Alright. The answer is in Mark 10, not Mark 10, but Mark 7. It says the Pharisees and some of the teachers of the law. What's the law? The law that the Most High gave Moses to give to his kinfolk. For Moses to give to his brethren, his sisters, his kinfolk. The Israelites that you read about in the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? Who had come from Jerusalem, the holy city of the Most High Father. You know what I'm saying? Gathered around Jesus, aka Yeshua. You know what I'm saying? The Prince of Peace. Right? So let's use Prince of Peace. And saw some of his disciples eating food with hands that were unclean, that is unwashed. So you know how your mama and your daddy, your granddaddy, your grandmama, your granny, your pappy, you know what I'm saying, your auntie, your uncle, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, you know what I'm saying, probably some of your friends, even yourself. Even I did it too. Where I'm getting it when we say out our mouths, like, hey, did you go wash your hands before you eat? So you already eating, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that's before you, you know what I'm saying, and you hungry, you ready to eat, ready to dive in, you ready to eat, you just got done working, or whatever the case it is, and you hungry, you know what I'm saying, you require food, right? Or you about to touch the food and you haven't ate nothing yet, and you about to touch the food, and we say, hey, go wash your hands, or did you wash your hands? And you go in there and you wash your hands, and then you go to eating. Some of y'all pray before y'all eat. Some of y'all don't even pray, and y'all just go straight to eating. I've done it too, so don't be bad if I say this. So this ain't judging. You know what I'm saying? This all about revealing and reflecting and applying what's right instead of what was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So we always say, you know what I'm saying, about unclean hands. Go wash your hands, or your hands nasty. They could look at your hands and say, oh, it's nasty. You know what I'm saying? So think about all the times that you ate without washing your hands. You know what I'm saying? And you think about all those times when you told somebody else, hey, to go wash your hands before you eat, or don't be eating with no nasty hands, and you ate with some according to us, you ate with your nasty hands yourself. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going. See where this stuff come from. So the Pharisees, it says in verse 3, the Pharisees and all the Jews, right? The Israelites, the Yahudi people, you know what I'm saying, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and there was a couple of remnant of some of a few of the other tribes like Ephraim and Manasseh. If you don't believe that, go read the book of Chronicles to figure out what other tribes did join the tribe of Judah other than Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? Other than Levi. You need to see who those little remnants of those 10 tribes. You know what I'm saying? So get back to the topic at hand. The Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they give their hands a ceremonial washing. You know what I'm saying? Holding to the tradition of the elders. So now let's stop right there. That's where hey, go wash your hands before you eat. That's what that came from. You don't start eating until you wash your hands. That's what that came from. This is an old tradition. That means something that's been passed on generation to generation. You know what I'm saying? From your parents to you. You know what I'm saying? Your parents got that from their parents, and their parents got that from their parents. You see what I'm saying? It's a traditional thing. Or let's just say your parents, if you go up the tree a little bit, because you can't really go back that deep in genealogy, And this is why you don't need to be messing with genealogy, because you can't go beyond the slave trade like that. You can't connect to a tribal heritage. So this is just for example. And they just say that this ceremonial washing came from the so-called white man. You know what I'm saying? Because people say, well, the African Americans didn't get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Jesus until they came across the white folks, the English men. Okay, let's put that in perspective. The ceremonial thing that you learned about washing your hands came from the so-called white man, because they gave you your ancestors the Bible, right? Okay, let's keep it like that. So that means you learned about this washing your hands to be clean before you pray and eat, before you eat, right? So when you think about it, when you really think about it, they was already keeping the traditional things according to the Old Testament, according to the Torah. They were keeping some of these things, and they were passing it on among themselves, amongst the Gentiles. So that means the Gentiles had more faith than a lot of Israelites. Oh, and then that kills the whole subject about folks talking about well, it shouldn't, the scripture should never got into the heathen hands. I believe that too, but nevertheless, if that was the case, if it should never happen, then the prophecy according to the Messiah about saying that about the gospel shall be preached to the nations. You know what I'm saying? So this gospel is going to reach nation to nation, beyond Judea, beyond Jerusalem, to the four corners of the earth, all over the earth. So ain't no way around this stuff, man. Prophecy is still being fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? All because prophecy came to pass doesn't mean it can't happen again. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing new under the sun, like Solomon saying. You know what I'm saying? Shah Shalom. You know what I'm saying? It was true. But back to the subject. Let me show you where the tradition of the elders came from. Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter. You know what I'm saying? It says, the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near, for the Lord your God, aka Yahuwah, the Almighty Father, has chosen the priests to serve him and to bless in the name of Yahuwah. Every time you see those caps, in all full caps, that means the Most High's name, because they replaced his name and put Lord right there. You know what I'm saying? Which means master. It's okay, but the fact that his name was right there, you should have kept his name so people could know who he is. You know what I'm saying? Changing the scriptures. Can't do that. And every dispute and every assault shall be settled by them. You got to understand who the priest was. If you read Deuteronomy, you'll figure out, and even before Deuteronomy, you could figure out that the priest is the Levites, because it says the sons of Levi, the priests, in the 5th verse. So let's go to the 6th verse. All the elders of that city, which is nearest to the slain man, you know what I'm saying? The person that got murdered, shall clean their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the valley. So when you think about this stuff, when you really think about this stuff, you can't go around it. That's where they got this stuff from. That's what they got it from. They got it from the elders. And you're going to see what the Mashiach was talking about the elders. You know what I'm saying? Holding to the tradition of the elders. That's who the Pharisees and all the Jews always kept accustomed to. They was doing the same things that the elders was doing. But when you look at Deuteronomy, let's go back. It says then the priests. the sons of Levi. You know what I'm saying? All the elders of the city, you know what I'm saying, will wash their hands. The priests of the sons of Levi supposed to wash their hands. So do you even know today if you are a son of Levi? You lost your tribal heritage a long time ago, aka the transatlantic slave trade, aka the sub-Saharan slave trade, aka the Indian slave trade, aka the Indian Ocean slave trade. So meaning all three of those slave trades dealt with aka Africa, what we call the continent of Africa, because a lot of so-called dark people from Africa got shipped out of that continent to go into bondage throughout the four corners on the earth. So now you can really see what happened to the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? When the Most High when the Most High said that the nation would get scattered across the four corners of the earth, he meant that. You can't go around it. So let's go back about the washing of the hands. Let's go back. It says when they come from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash. So and they observe many other traditions, such as the washing of cups, pitchers, and kettles. Okay, nothing wrong with cleaning your stuff, but the fact that you're gonna see the problem with the washing of hands in a minute. You know what I'm saying? It says, so these Pharisees and teachers of the law, you know what I'm saying, teachers of the law, the laws given to Moses, asked the Prince of Peace, why don't your disciples live according to the tradition of the elders instead of eating their food with unclean hands? So they basically saying, Yahshua, hey, why your students, you know what I'm saying, why your believers ain't wash their hands before they ate, man? You know what I'm saying? Why they ain't wash their hands? And it's a customary thing that we wash our hands before we eat. Well, like what's up with that, man? What's going on? Then the Messiah said Isaiah was right when he prophesied, when he foretold about you hypocrites, as it is written, these people honor me with their own lips, with their mouths, but their hearts are far from me. So your heart that's in your, you know what I'm saying, that's above your stomach, that heart, you have a passion towards something. You know what I'm saying? You have a passion for something. You know what I'm saying? It's far from the Most High. Because I just showed you that these folks, obviously, in the Pharisees and the teacher of the law, got a passion, you know what I'm saying, of washing their hands before they eat. But before they eat, they copied, they kept going what the elders was doing. That is something that the priest supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? This is something that the priests, the Levites, supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And you try to make everybody who wasn't even a priest to do it. That's wrong. That's using instruction, aka Torah, wrong. You know what I'm saying? You ain't no priest. You ain't obligated to do that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's a trip. And then also hearts could, you know, when people say the heart, they could say the mind. So their mindset was set on that you need to go and wash your hand before you eat, just like the elders did. So if your people was, if you belong to a clan of Levites who are most likely priests unto the Most High, y'all gotta do that. Y'all supposed to do that. Everybody else don't need to be trying to do that. That task was for the Levite priests. That was for y'all, not Judah, not nobody else. Why you putting the same burden on everybody else? You bound to that law. We not bound to that law. We free people. Y'all bond people. That's how it is. Ain't no this or nothing, but that's where that stuff come from. Don't look, if somebody give you something to do, you need to go do it. But you don't put nobody to, you don't make nobody do what you supposed to do. That's your task. You know what I'm saying? That shows that you're incapable of handling stuff that's given unto you. You know what I'm saying? You ask and you shall receive. Whatever you receive, you need to carry it out. You know what I'm saying? Apply it. You know what I'm saying? You don't use nobody. That's what that is. So let's keep going. They worship me in vain. Their teachings are but rules taught by men, because they telling you to go wash your hands, when that task is not even given to nobody else but to the Levite priests. So what is they doing? They psyching y'all. They psyched us all. You got to read the scriptures to show yourself approved so you can receive the benefits from it, the fruits thereof. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand how the knowledge of good and evil work. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what is right and knowing what is wrong. It's a burden unto you anyway. Ain't no way around it until the coming of the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? To get that fruit of life. You heard me? So let's keep going. You have let go of the commands of Yahuwah, the Almighty God, and you holding on the traditions of men. See there, he getting on him. The Messiah's getting on these folks again. Like y'all off. Y'all out of bounds with, you know what I'm saying, talking about y'all teachers of the law, y'all Pharisees, y'all separatists. Yeah, y'all separating everybody to do the wrong. You know what I'm saying? To do bad, not good. Y'all not right. Y'all not right. And they said to them, you have a fine way of setting aside the commands of God in order to observe your own traditions. You see what I'm saying? They're not following the commands, you know what I'm saying, those instructions that I showed you. They're not following this thoroughly. You know what I'm saying? Because it tell you plain as day that it's for the priests. You know what I'm saying? It's right there in Deuteronomy. Ain't no way around it. And then look, verse 9, it says, and he said to them, you have we read that, you have a fine way of setting aside the commands. You can't do that. In verse 10, it says, for Moses said, honor your father and your mother. So it is what it is. And anyone who curses his father or mother must be put to death, right? But you say that if a man says to his father or mother, whatever help you might otherwise have received from me is Corban, which means a gift devoted to the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? He gave them another example of how they mess up what the law says to do. You know what I'm saying? Doing something alternate to what the scriptures told them to do. You know what I'm saying? They have a knack of doing that. That was one of the main problems that Southern Kingdom Israelites had. You know what I'm saying? Unlike Northern Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Northern Kingdom was wicked. They didn't want to keep no laws, period, like that. You know what I'm saying? Doing their own thing. Well, Southern Kingdom, they was somewhat doing the same thing, but they were listening to the people who was well known in the laws according to the elders. You know what I'm saying? And trying to apply these things that the elders had to learn, you know what I'm saying, these Levites, unto everybody else. No, you can't do that. Whatever the priest had to do, the priest, when you read the book of the law, you know what I'm saying, the 5 books of Moses, you're gonna find out that all the laws that the Most High gave Moses to give to the Levites' wives, to Aaron, to Aaron's sons, and to the Levites, they had specific laws pertaining to them. It wasn't for every single Israelite like some of the other commands and laws too. You know what I'm saying? No, they had separate laws. You know what I'm saying? You won't know that till you read Moses' written testimonies. You know what I'm saying? It says, then you no longer let him do anything for his father or mother, which is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Do the things for your father and your mother. You know what I'm saying? If it's immoral, you know what I'm saying, then that's when you could like show them, hey, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody, let God be true and let every man a liar. That's the only stipulation that you have towards your family members, especially your family members. If they not being logical with it, morality wise, if they putting wrong before the right, then your mother will be wrong, your father will be wrong, because they not being just. Your parents supposed to be just like, especially your father, your earthly father supposed to be just as your father above. You see what I'm saying? So don't believe that all parents they all wise and all this stuff. It said trust no man but the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Let God be true and let every man a liar. So they could convey you truths, but you got to make sure that it is. You have to have the spirit of discernment, knowing from right from wrong, good and evil. If it ain't right, don't bite it. You know what I'm saying? Thus, you nullify, you stop the word of Yahuwah by your tradition that you have handed down. See, I told you earlier, this washing of hands was given generation to generation. So generation to generation, a lot of flock of folks was getting astray, being led astray, fed inaccuracy, inaccurate knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And by doing that, you could lead a whole nation of people, a whole tribe, a tribe. You know what I'm saying? You could lead a tribe by itself astray. The Old Testament shows proof of that. Look what happened to Northern Kingdom. You know? But the Most High had mercy for Southern Kingdom Israelites. And you do many things like that. See, doing many things like that by carrying on the traditions of your family. You know what I'm saying? Of your old school elders. You know what I'm saying? You should have gained more knowledge by now and recheck the traditions of your family. See, like, where did we get this from? Where did we get that from? Is that we all believe in the Son? Is this what the Son of the Most High did? You know what I'm saying? You see that the Most High Son, Yahshua, but you call him Jesus, is getting on the Pharisees about the washing of hands. You know what I'm saying? So if the Messiah's checking them, that means he checking you, who listening. He checking you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself, like the song say, right? You already wrecked yourself, so it's time for you to renew yourself. You know what I'm saying? We all gotta too. By practicing the ways of the Mashiach, the Messiah that you believe in. It says again, Yahshua called the crowd to him and said, listen to me, everyone, and understand this. Nothing outside of man can make him unclean by going into him. See there? Rather, instead, it is what comes out of a man that makes him unclean. So all these folks telling you that, hey, this is unclean, they yoking you back to up to Mount Sinai, out to Mount Horeb. You didn't recently just get out of Egypt. You in a whole different continent, African American folks. You know what I'm saying? You in a whole different continent. And you Gentiles who love the Most High God and you believe in the scriptures about the Son, and you decided to follow the Bible and all this stuff, right? You believe in the testimonies. Okay, cool. Ain't no problem with, you know what I'm saying? No problem with that. You know you not the Israelites, but you believe. Okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I can't knock that. The Most High like that. Because y'all need to get ready for Isaiah the 66th chapter, which is prophecy. You know what I'm saying? To worship the Most High on that holy hill. Especially for the Feast of the Tabernacles. That's going to be back in play when that happens. You see what I'm saying? Read it. Don't believe me. Go check it. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going. And it says if anyone has ears to hear, let them hear. So if you hearing this, you ain't hearing my voice, you hearing the Messiah's own voice. You hearing the testimonies written that's recorded by this person who been dubbed Mark. You know what I'm saying? It says, after he left the crowd and entered the house, his disciples asked him about this parable. You know what I'm saying? That he told them about the unclean. They seen it as a parable. So the Messiah said, Are you so dull? Meaning, are you not of understanding? So he asked, don't you see that nothing that enters a man from the outside can make him unclean? So let's just say you got a cheeseburger from McDonald's right in your face. You know what I'm saying? Whether you bought it or somebody else bought it, and it's right there before you. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that's sitting at the table, right? Everybody finna eat some McDonald's, a variety of stuff from McDonald's, right? Now, even all the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that you gain about McDonald's and all this stuff, being like, this what they did to their food, this what they did to the food and all this stuff, chemicals and fake meat and all this stuff, right? Right. But it's before you. You know what I'm saying? It's about restoring, refueling your body. Like you go to the gas station, you get some gas, right? You get a Pacific gas though for or you already know what gas this for your car, right? Okay, cool. But sometimes a lot of folks don't get the regular. They'll go ahead and get the middle grade. You know what I'm saying? So their gas could last a little longer. You know what I'm saying? It's not that they don't have faith in the regular gas, like the gas that they normally get, but they know that, okay, according to their circumstances, they feel like to last longer, they're going to have to go ahead and get another type of gas. They went for their middle grade. You know what I'm saying? They might jump to the higher grade. You know what I'm saying? Preparing. You know what I'm saying? They just trying to be straight. So when you see that McDonald's and you thinking like, oh man, this unhealthy, you might be right. But the fact that somebody else bought it, you know what I'm saying, you got a choice either to not eat it or to eat it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't eat it because of what statistics say, what these white scientists and black scientists, all these scientists, you know what I'm saying? Science is not even of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You choosing to not go by faith and go ahead and eat that food so you can get the strength back in your doggone body. That's the whole point, to continue your life on earth. You know what I'm saying? Maybe hopefully the next time around you can find something more better to eat. But then if you know the teachings of the Mashiach, if you believe in the Messiah, then you know that you know not to worry about the things that you eat and the things that you drink. You know what I'm saying? That's the teaching of the Mashiach. You got to read it. Because it says, for it doesn't go into his heart, you know what I'm saying, to that heart that beats in your chest, but that food that was in front of you, it goes into your stomach and then out of his body. In saying this, the Prince of Peace declared all foods clean. You see what I'm saying? That's bringing you back to Genesis. You know what I'm saying? That's when you think what I mean about that is bringing you back to Genesis. The Messiah is bringing you back to a Genesis type of mode, to where is that in the beginning everybody was allowed to eat any type of animal. You know what I'm saying? That they was allowed to eat a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Before the Most High said, okay, you can eat this, but you cannot eat that. That came along when the Israelites just came out of wicked Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Mitzrayim. You know what I'm saying? The house of bondage. You know what I'm saying? Following the customs of Egypt, eating Pacific food and all this stuff. And look, the food that they was eating, a lot of the times, some of that food, when you look up the history of how the Egyptians rolled their way of life, a lot of that food was sacrificed to their fake old idols. You see what I'm saying? Those fake other deities, these other gods, these other so-called powers that had no life in them. Meaning they was moveless pieces of rock or metal or wood or whatever the case it was, monuments and all this stuff. Who knows? They probably worshipped the wall because they had pictures of the deities on the walls and the hieroglyphs. You know what I'm saying? You know, he said, and then he said, look, he went on and said, what comes out of a man is what makes him unclean. So when you eat something, you know what I'm saying? The other alternative for that food to complete inside your body, you know what I'm saying? So if you know school, you know about health class, and you took health class and stuff, you know when you eat food and you break it down, it conserves, you know what I'm saying? It transfers that stuff into energy to give yourself your life being more life. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then all the other stuff that the energy came from, which is that food that you ate from the outside that came into the inside, it dishes out either from your behind, or you know what I'm saying, from you know what I'm saying, if you drink something and if you eat something, it come from your front. You know what I'm saying? If you're a male, it come from your you know, from your penis, or it come from your behind. Or if the body feel like you consume too much, it'll come out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Vomit. So what comes out of your mouth, it makes you unclean. So you got to understand the knowledge and understanding of the Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? Once you understand all these things, then you receive wisdom. So next time you come around it, the wisdom gon' trigger in your mind like lightning. You know what I'm saying? Flashing it to the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh snap, I remember. The remembrance. You know what I'm saying? Not remembering what Akeem told you, but remembering what the teaching of the Mashiach says. You know what I'm saying? And then for the women, it's the same thing. It's the same thing for y'all. What comes inside your body is not what makes you what not makes you unclean. You know what I'm saying? Or nasty. It was come out of your mouth that makes a man nasty. And even with food, not just only food, but the stuff that come out of our mouth, like there's a teaching in the New Testament about refraining from bad language. You know what I'm saying? So don't be listening to these folks that have the Bible in their hand and they got foul language in their other hand. You know what I'm saying? You can't wield those two swords like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the mouth is a powerful tool. You know? See? And then he tells you what's really unclean. For within, from within you, out of men's hearts, out of your heart. You know what I'm saying? So out of the passion of your heart that's in your chest, or the heart that's within your mind, you know what I'm saying, comes evil thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Sexual immorality, theft, aka stealing, murder, adultery. You know what I'm saying? Messing with all these women, messing with all these dudes, and you ain't even married to that one person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like every time you have sex, it's like you marrying every single person. You know what I'm saying? You can't stick to one person. You ain't no different from a prostitute. Greed, malice, you know what I'm saying? That's that hatred, deceit, you know what I'm saying? Lewdness. Look up all these words. Don't believe my words. Envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. You know what I'm saying? That all that stuff what makes you unclean. You know what I'm saying? Just like you throw up something, or you go to the toilet and you do your business there, or you go you do a number one, or you do a number two in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? You it's like you gotta let this stuff exit out from within you. You gotta X this out from the inside to the outside. You know what I'm saying? All these evils come from inside and make a man unclean. Then the Prince of Peace left that place and went into the defense of Tyre. See, he was entering to all these areas outside of Judea, looking for the lost sheep for the house of Israel, the house of Israel, aka Northern Kingdom, because the two kingdoms were still split. You know what I'm saying? The Northern Kingdom Israelites, the 10 tribes of the man named Israel. You know what I'm saying? They got exiled. They got kicked out of their own land. They got kicked out of the Holy Land. You know what I'm saying? And other nations end up occupying in their land. But there was some remnants of people of some of them tribes that were still in their land. You know what I'm saying? AKA, if you don't believe in that, you can look back at the story about the lady at the well that the Messiah came across. You know what I'm saying? So there is some remnants that stayed. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? That woman believed in Yahweh. It took a minute for her to realize that, until he revealed it to her. You know what I'm saying? Cause she did not know. She ain't had a clue who he was. Right in front of her. You know what I'm saying? You know about something, but it's right there in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So do your research about the clean and unclean. You know what I'm saying? Show yourself approved, cause he did say, what makes you clean and what makes you unclean. You know what I'm saying? So don't let these folks. So you learn a lot of stuff. This the New International Version, but you can read any version, you're gonna get the same result. And I encourage you to dive into the Hebrew and look at the word unclean and unwashed, and Pharisees and all this stuff, to get a deeper understanding. And the results still gonna stay the same. Well, ain't nothing gonna change with what the Messiah said. Don't let these folks trick you. You know what I'm saying? Do your research.